The news has been dominated by Todd Chrisley lately. It was the first time he had spoken since getting locked up. His initial interview. While everyone is raving about Chrisley knows best, the reporter, Brian Entin, says he's getting flack for even doing the interview. Indeed, just 48 hours ago, Brian revealed on X, the former Twitter, that he was receiving a lot of negative feedback about the interview. To be more precise, the most common question people asked him was this: why did he even bother to interview Todd Chrisley? Fans of Chrisley Knows Best are talking about Brian receiving backlash for the interview on Reddit. More precisely, was it a mistake to do the interview? Was it a career suicide? Retain your voice for specifics. Interview with Todd Chrisley for Brian Entin on his career suicide. One Reddit user gave everyone a hint that Brian was receiving resistance for the interview by sharing a link to his tweet. The original poster made it clear that the actual issue was that Brian Entin was becoming a gossip reporter. "I've gotten some heat about my Todd Chrisley interview from prison," wrote Brian in a tweet about it. "What makes a wealthy man incarcerated matter to me? What concerns me is what he claims is happening to lawfully imprisoned nonviolent inmates." In an attempt to cool off, Brian clarified that speaking with Todd Chrisley was not really about the reality TV personality. The only reason Todd was interviewed was so that others could hear what he had to say. He was a wealthy and well-known man after all. Nothing happens with the gossip interview. Several supporters gave their justifications for objecting to the interview on Reddit. As it happens, Todd Chrisley had nothing to do with it. The problem was that Brian Entin did not conduct any research or write any reports. Todd revealed rumors, and Brian paid attention. Supporters contend he ought to have retaliated by requesting additional examples. Similarly, supporters think he ought to have gotten some kind of evidence supporting the blackmail narrative Todd mentioned in the interview. My problem with his interview is he didn't challenge much of anything, which makes it more gossip than anything, yelled a displeased fan. In relation to the photo and the blackmail, what steps have they taken to apprehend the perpetrator? Electronic conversations and photographs are always accompanied by tracking information. What other admirers thought of it was as follows: why didn't they report this blackmail allegation or organize a sting operation with a private investigator if it's true? I had regard for Brian's reporting once. He appeared to be objective and thorough at all times. This is really beneath him. I'm quite let down and won't be listening to the interview. He is a terrible reporter. He is so far from being a real pop culture reporter, but I suppose he might be one. But did Todd Chrisley get good press for him? As of right now, Brian Entin is facing a lot of criticism over the interview. Nonetheless, he is currently making news due to the exact same interview that many find objectionable. Since Todd had never been interviewed before after being imprisoned, this interview was particularly significant. Was it a career suicide then, or did it make him famous? Do you believe that Brian Entin interviewed Todd Chrisley incorrectly? Do you believe he performed poorly during the interview? Post your ideas in the comments section.